A lady up ahead waved to flag me down. She got in at the light. Oh, where you going to, my lady blue? It's a shame you ruined your gown in the rain. She just looked out the window. She said, 16 Parkside Lane.
It was raining hard in Frisco. I needed one more fare to make my night. A lady up ahead waved to flag me down. She got in at the light. Oh, where you going to, my lady blue? It's a shame you ruined your gown in the rain. She just looked out the window. She said, 16 Parkside Lane. Something about her was familiar. I could swear I've seen her face before. But she said, I'm sure you're mistaken. And she didn't say anything more. It took a while, but she looked in the mirror. Then she glanced at the license for my name. A smile seemed to come to her slowly. It was a sad smile just the same. And she said, how are you, Harry? I said, how are you, Sue? Through the too many miles and the too little smiles, I still remember you. It was somewhere in a fairy tale. I used to take her home in my car. We learned about love in the back of a Dodge. The lesson hadn't gone too far. You see, she was gonna be an actress, and I was gonna learn to fly. She took off to find the footlights. I took off to find the sky. To drive the princess blind. There's a wild man wizard, he's hiding in me, illuminating my mind. Oh, I've got something inside me, not what my life's about. 'Cause I've been letting my outside tide me over till my time runs out. There was not much more for us to talk about. Whatever we had once was gone. So I turned my cab into the driveway, past the gate and the fine trim lawns. And she said, we must get together, but I knew it'd never be arranged. Then she handed me $20 for a $2.50 fare. She said, Harry, keep the change. Well, another man might have been angry, and another man might have been hurt, but another man never would let her go. I stashed the bill in my shirt, and she walked away in silence. It's strange how you never know, but we'd both gotten what we'd asked for such a long, long time ago. You see, she was gonna be an actress, and I was gonna learn to fly. She took off to find the footlights, I took off for the sky. And here she's acting happy inside her handsome home, and me, I'm flying in my taxi, taking tips and getting stoned. I go flying so high when I'm stoned. I got into town a little early, had 8 hours to kill before the show. First I thought about heading up north of the bay, then I knew where I had to go. I thought about taking a limousine, or at least a fancy car, but I ended up taking a taxi, 'cause that's how I got this far. You see, 10 years ago it was the front seat, driving stoned and feeling no pain. Now here I am straight and sitting in the back. Oh, honey, it's me. What did you think when you heard me back on the radio? What did the kids say when they knew it was their long-lost daddy? Oh, remember how we listened to the radio, and I said that's the place to be, and how I got the job as an FM jock the day you married me. It was 2 kids and I was into AM rock, but I just had to run around. It's been 8 years since I left you, babe. Let me tell you about what's gone down. I am the morning DJ at
WLD. The voice that's heard but never seen. And this voice should be heard and never seen. And I shouldn't have done a dab right before I came on, because boy is my voice clogged. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Rockin, Stalkin, Mockin, Talkin, Chopin with Chapin. Now you might be asking, what's all this shit on the screen? And the answer is, I couldn't find a studio mode in OBS. So now that I've got that taken care of, welcome to the show. You might see above me, the most important thing any podcast can do these days, any comedian can do, is beg for money on the internet. And we've got our fun going tonight, which is moolah, because we matter. And the point behind this is, give me your hard-earned moolah begging for money on the internet. Let's head on over to the chat, see who we've got over there. Anyone popping in yet? We got a couple viewers. You know what? I'm going to clear this frog in my throat. Enjoy the opening again.
Hello, honey, it's me. What did you think when you heard me back on the radio? What did the kids say when they knew it was their long-lost daddy? Oh, remember how we listened to the radio, and I said that's the place to be, and how I got the job as an FM jock the day you married me. It was 2 kids and I was into AM rock, but I just had to run around. It's been 8 years since I left you, babe. Let me tell you about what's gone down.
Am the morning DJ at WLD. Okay, we're back. What's going on? It's your boy Bobby, coming to you with the #1 podcast that talks about podcasts, that analyze 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 Harry Chapin songs. Welcome. Now, a lot of you might be asking, 10:07, that's a weird time to start the show. Why would you start at 10:07? Well, obviously, we say 10, give people a few minutes to trickle in. 10:05, that's obviously too mainstream. We're cooler than that. 6 sucks. Just the number in general. Anyone who would choose that number or name something that number sucks. And 10:07 it is. 7's lucky. It's good. Biblical. Nothing wrong with that. And nothing wrong with the fact that our co-host isn't available yet. He's dealing with some stuff. Probably grabbing clips because he's way more professional than I am. And he will be with us as quickly as possible. But before we get into anything even remotely podcast related, and hopefully my computer's still going because I just crashed everything, we got to talk about merch. Guys, t-shirts available now. Go to teespring.com/gettalkin. That shirt you see there, $250. You can get it right now, straight to your house. I think there's shipping included. I don't know. I'm not broke, so I don't have to ask those questions. And if you keep giving me your hard-earned moolah because I matter, not you who works hard for it, me begging for it on the internet, give it to me. In addition to this t-shirt on the website, we've also got some other things. We've got a screen print all-around shirt that costs $300 and some stickers that are actually kind of reasonably priced but still astronomically expensive for stickers. And if you know what this podcast is, you know what we do. We talk about other podcasts. So without further ado, let's get into that right now. Oh, there I am again.
What did you think when you heard, oh, honey, it's me? What did you think when you heard me back on the radio? What did the kids say when they knew it was their long-lost daddy? Oh, remember how we listened to the radio, and I said, that's the place to be. And how I got the job as an FM jock the day you married me. It was 2 kids and I was into AM rock, but I just had to run around. It's been 8 years since I left you, babe. Let me tell you about what's gone down. I am the morning DJ at WOLD, playing all the hits for you, wherever you may be. The bright good morning. Hello.
Who's heard but never seen? And hey, speaking of a face who should be heard but never seen, it's your boy Bobby, and on screen too early is our guest, but we'll get to her in just 1 second. We will bring her on. I also revealed a little early, but you guys know the most important thing you can do at any podcast before you even introduce what you're doing or who you are. What is this clown doing? If you are just tuning in and you aren't sure what Rockin, Stalkin, Mockin, Talkin, Chopin with Chapin is, what I do is I take a podcast, break it down into clips that I want to break down into parts. So I'm going to just let it play out. That frustrated me too much because it's like, come on, you started your podcast. What are you going to do? Be coughing because you're having a fit from taking a dab that you shouldn't have before doing a live show? No. Okay? Have all your stuff ready to go. Make it nice and smooth. Get the screen ready. Test it out before you actually start the show. I'm sorry. Normally we play through the whole clip before we comment on it and then go back if need be, but I'm sorry. Is to tell you what our goal is and why we're begging for money. And tonight's goal is a very meager, very simple $5,000, and our cause is handouts for Harley. Okay. Again, I know I'm pausing the podcast. I'm sorry, chat. Calm down. I know my own rules. I made them. I normally play by them. But if you have a goal, like that's just saying you're a broke bitch, man. I get enough Venmo daily. It just goes into the bank, man. I don't even know. Brum, 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 brum. Do I hit my goals? Do I not? I'm the best. Okay? I'm rich. Now, I'm sorry. I'll try to make it through the full first clip. I apologize. Because let's be honest, you guys work very hard doing. Couldn't do it. We found Brittany Griner. She was on screen early. She's doing this shitty podcast. Jobs that actually matter, that change people's lives, and you should give me that money for sitting here on the internet making fun of other people. But without further ado, welcome one, welcome all. Seemed like a hell of a lot of ado. To Stalkin, Mockin, Talkin, Chopin with Chapin, the podcast that analyzes podcasts that analyze podcasts that analyze podcasts that analyze Harry Chapin songs. And I would say we're probably number one in that market. And it's a huge market. And speaking of huge, here's a huge superstar joining me, and you guys don't need any more introduction because she's probably the reason the 4 people are in the chat. It's Luby Popovic. I could have used some more introduction. The only thing big about this bitch is her cock. Starting forward for the Phoenix Mercury with a mean bank shot, it's Luby Popovic, Greg's daughter.
Woo! Thank you for the huge star. I thought you were going to say a huge bitch.
Hole alert. Hole alert. Hole alert.
So
No, never. Never. Now, as you know, because you're here, but I would like to just, break things down for the audience. The most important thing you can have on a podcast is a female co-host who... No, the most important thing you can have on a podcast is all of your information up where people can buy things to support you. So we've got our moolah, because I matter and you don't. Regardless of what you do, sure, maybe you're a doctor saving lives. Maybe you're an EMT saving lives. Maybe you're a soldier, a cop, whatever. That doesn't matter. What does is me shit-talking on the internet about shit you definitely care about. That would impact your every second of daily life. Oh, shit. Here we go. We hit our first moolah payment. It's a payment from Donovan because I matter. He said, have a good show, put this towards some weed, and he's off to bed. Well, good night, Donovan. And we're not going to call you any names because it's later than usual. So thank you so much. And Donovan, eventually I'm going to stop being lazy and order this shirt and send one to you. Because you also matter. Thank you for sending me your $250 hard-earned dollars. Shall we continue with this shit? From afar, it looks like there's chemistry with, but anybody who really knows the show knows there's no sexual chemistry whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right?
I'm glad that's my only currency. Okay.
Well, you know what you bring to the table.
Not much. Lame jokes. It's okay.
Are they friends? Are they not? Is there sexual chemistry? Clearly not. Does one person want there to be? I don't think so, but it looks like maybe. What is going on? Introduce yourselves. Obviously, people know who I am, but people won't know who my guest is, so I'll give him a hell of an introduction when he comes on, if he ever makes it. And again, he's much more important than I am, so I don't really care. I'm just here shit-talking, you know? And Jesus, look at that. Like, I get it. Podcasting is now following radio cycle, right? Where there were a couple of big, and there were everybody had small pop-ups, everybody could do it, and then there are going to be a few mainstream, actually talented people. You know, in podcasting, it'll be whoever can shit talk the most. So now the theme is, hey, let's try bringing in a hole, but like make sure your hole has a hole. It isn't good enough at dunking the basketball through the hole, if you catch my drift. Oh, are you guys as exhausted by this podcast as I am already? If you are, why don't you cozy up in one of our teas? You know? Nice and snug, come in great sizes. I wish I had an example, but, you know, laundry day, or whatever excuse I said earlier.
It is $5,000. I think, am I correct?
It is $5,000.
Way too low. You can aim higher.
As everybody knows, if I don't do this, if I don't hit that goal, my spouse will make me get a real job and stop doing this with me.
And never have sex with you, I'm assuming?
That's definitely already on the table. You know what we do here. Ooh, okay. Sorry, let that slide a second. I was just shocked because we learned a couple of big things already. One, the whole loopy. I'll be honest, I'll name her. It's 2023. We don't have to use terms O&A invented back in Shock Jock Peak. God, I miss those days. Moment of silence. Anyway, Luby does not know what's going on with the show. Is the goal 5,000? Is it not? I don't know. Maybe she's big balling. Maybe she's just doesn't give a shit. And if we look at what we've got going on here, Jesus Christ, right? We've got a guy, shitty, rolled on lights that aren't even hidden. Like, clearly, if they're off during the day, you're just going to see him and it's going to be a question starter where it's like, what's up with your floorboard and ceiling? And where is he? Is he in a makeshift Joe Rogan studio from Austin before he rebuilt it and actually got good shit in? Who knows? And look at her. Flip your phone. You're supposed to work in entertainment. This is YouTube. This is what matters. Okay? It doesn't matter if you get a type 5 anymore or what you can do on stage or if you're universally funny, and it doesn't matter what audience you're in front of. What matters is how you look on YouTube. So what are you doing, babe? Turn your phone sideways. Or what are you doing, producer? Too busy worried about the flannel you got at Express? Like, what guy who wears a flannel goes to Express to fucking crop her video? Come on. Come on. We also learned that this guy is not fucking his spouse that occasionally shows up on the show and that it's just there more out of say than anything. So, I don't know. Let's see what else we got. Right, Luby, we break down podcasts that break down podcasts that break down podcasts that break down
All that
Harry Chapin
bananas
songs.
fine. Mm-hmm.
The bananas is for the song that was originally featured on the podcast. But without further ado, let's get into it. And I like to just let the intro play. Okay. I know you saw me fast forward a little bit there. Normally we don't do that here. Normally we're pretty good at cutting the clips, being prepared, you know, not showing up and not being ready to instantly hit the ground running, having to do something crazy like loop it back to the open, right? But I had to fast forward there because this guy had clearly been using fast forward and wanted to play the intro slow, so he had to restart and it took him 33 solid seconds. So I just sped it up for us there. Let's continue. People gave me money, I could do this faster. No, you get good at something and then people give you money. Like if you're the best shit talker, that's when you get people to give you money.
Talkin, Bobby.
Remember how we listened to the radio, and I said that's the place to be. And how I got the job as an FM jock the day you married me. It was 2 kids and I was into AM rock, but I just had to run around. It's been 8 years since I left you, babe. Let me tell you about what's gone down. I am the morning DJ at WOLD, playing all the hits for you, wherever you may be. The bright good morning. Hello, honey, it's me.
Who's heard but never seen? It's your boy, Bobby Tamburo. Okay, so we're going to have to get rid of some of our promos for a second.
I don't know.
The promos I wish this guy would get rid of would be like his one to subscribe to Libsyn or YouTube Plus or obviously the bot site he uses to get subscriptions. Like, if you look at his fucking subscriber to view count, it is nuts. Can say that was a pretty sick open, though.
Somebody who's trying way too hard to be cool and it's just not working. And
Speaking
I
of that,
wanna-
look at his outfit.
oh my God, you just beat me to it. What is up with the khaki blazer?
Okay, I actually like the khaki blazer. That's a pretty dumb idea, but just looks like he's trying hard, you know? What?
That's what
Way
I'm
too
saying.
much of a try hard. And clearly, the hat is to hide the fact that he's bald, right? We get it, buddy. You're bald. Just have the balls to shave your head, regardless of how big it is, and show it to the world.
Yeah. Do you think he's overcompensating with all of that, like the intro thing where he has beautiful big hair we kind of photoshopped his own head. I think he's just being very, very insecure about it and overcompensating with fake hair.
Both insecure and narcissistic, which is kind of an oxymoron most of the time.
That's a lethal combo, though. Those people are the most dangerous.
Did this fucking Hobbit reject really start making fun of other people's outfits? Okay, we already addressed the flannel. I know you look like you want to be an extra on the show Supernatural. That'll hit with literally 0.1% of the audience. But what's this shirt? You might be asking yourself. Did he spill probably tea-berry ice cream on his chest? No. I looked it up. I did the research. Bobby gets facts done. That's his own logo. It's his own shirt. What kind of fucking loser wears his own shirt? And then a throwback Grizzlies hat that doesn't match at all. What, did you have stains on the other ones? Did you eat the rest, Tubby? What are you doing there? Just nuts. More importantly, appearances sell tickets, okay? When you look good, you can sell tickets. When your show, everything you guys see over here looks good, you sell tickets. That's how you get $25 fucking donations. That's how you get $25 super chats. Sure, you might say your weed dealer's all over giving fucking donations out the wazoo and you plugged him more than anybody and he hasn't even popped in your chat once, but that's okay. Because you know what? His weed is so good. Which brings me to my first official sponsorship on the show. He hasn't endorsed it yet, but he hasn't complained when I plugged it before. And that is K-Fur's Fog Weed. Hit up K-Fur. It's the best weed around. Honestly, it is so high quality that sometimes I have to go months without ordering from him just to get my tolerance back. Like 1 ounce of his and you're going to be in heaven for a month. K-Fur Weed. Hit him up. Best around.
Overcompensating with fake hair.
Both insecure and narcissistic. Insecure and narcissistic, like mocking somebody for wearing a blazer and putting effort in. Now you might say, Bobby, well, look at your outfit. You're wearing a Tupac hat. What is that, a Philadelphia Jimmy Butler jersey? And yeah, but my outfit means something, okay? It represents something. Obviously, Tupac saying fuck the world is saying, yeah, fuck the world. Sometimes it's too deep for you to understand me. And the Jimmy Butler jersey is because you made me do this. You made me do this. Anyway, let's continue. It's kind of an oxymoron most of the time.
That's a lethal combo, though. Those
I wish these two morons would overdose on oxy.
people are the most dangerous. Brilliant.
Her voice grates on my soul.
Brilliant was an overkill. Without a brilliant week, I could have let it fly. But brilliant is like this guy has.
The only thing she should let fly is herself off a roof.
A face of a moose. Doesn't seem very brilliant.
He looks inbred, if I'm being honest. But
He looks like inbred, 100%.
this show should be called Inbred and Inbredder. Guys. An oxymoron most of the time.
That's a lethal combo, though. Those people.
Okay, we're out here working hard. Narcissistic, which is kind of an oxymoron most of the time.
That's a lethal
I apologize. I
combo,
know
though.
we're
Those
going back. I
people
just need to
are
hear
the
what
most
she said one more
dangerous.
time.
Brilliant was an overkill. Without a brilliant week, I could have let it fly. But brilliant is like this guy has a face of a moose.
So she paused, went, to come up with a metaphor, and she came up with the face of a moose. Not pie face. The face of a moose. I wish a moose would kick her in the cunt.
Doesn't seem very brilliant.
He looks inbred, if I'm being honest. But
He looks like inbred, 100%.
this show should be called Inbred and Inbredder. Guys, give us some money, okay? We're out here working hard. They're not. He just made a Dumb and Dumber joke with inbred. Speaking of bread, it looks like this guy eats a lot of carbs. Not a fan. I don't like him. There are people lying about us. There's a war out there, Luby. There's a war, and the only way we're going to win is if we get enough money to win the arms race. So wrong. Please, hand out for a Harley. And if you can't, head on over and get a t-shirt, right? $200 to $300. He is right. There is a war coming. But it's not an arms race. It's a scene. Just kidding, I'm not that dumb. But no, the best thing you can do is give him money? Wrong. Okay? The best thing you could do, what do you think? It's give him some cash? No. What do you think it is? Go on stage and fight it where it actually matters? No. What do you think it is? Go to the clubs where people are dragging your name through the mud and actually show them you're the same human being who you were before the world shut down of COVID, despite all the clips they see on the internet? Wrong. That's not how you fight a war. You fight a war by going on YouTube, okay? Okay? You fight a war by getting on here and you talk shit about other people who 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 talk shit about you. And you burn it to the fucking ground. That's how you fight a war. Not in the art form you actually want to be in and that you're saying there's going to be a war in. On YouTube. Nobody gives a fuck about you two losers hanging out. Just go do this in a basement. Better yet, do it in Mike's car, in his garage, and leave the garage door closed and leave the car running.
Mm-hmm.
Now you guys might be saying, hey, Bobby, I know this show is called Rockin, Stalkin, Mockin, Talkin, Chopin with Chapin. That's a lot of words. Do you ever think of calling it anything else? I did at one point think about calling it ballerina shoes. But then I thought that would be dumb to name something out of something, name my show after something I've clearly never worn or needed ever in my life. That would be pretty dumb.
And the fact that you're talking shit about other podcasts and YouTubers makes it even more interesting and validates how ahead of the game you are.
Thank you. Particularly like important things like podcasts about Harry Chapin podcasts, right? Like that's the subject matter we really need to overanalyze. And now, sure, some morons out there, some idiots might say things like, Bobby, you should spend all that time and energy you're putting into this show that's mocking something nobody cares about and write jokes or write a script or write a podcast that people would actually give a fuck about. And the answer is no. That's not what comedy is. And you know what you certainly don't do, Louie? You don't go on stage and pick up a mic.
Why would we? That's for losers.
Absolutely. And you don't show any loyalty in this game, right? The second somebody... Okay, this is a long clip, so I'm going to cut it there. He is right. Like, yes, everybody who's doing one of these shitty shows, mocking another one of these shitty shows, mocking another one of these shitty... is either someone who claims to be a comedian or someone who at one point wanted to be and it didn't work out. And then they went into other fields like radio or something like that. I don't know. But they're good at this, okay? And that makes them comedians. Stand-up comedians. Even if you don't ever do stand-up comedy, this is what makes you good at stand-up comedy, okay? You understand? This. Not, like, by today's standards. You know who the top 5 comedians are right now? Joe Rogan. Okay. Bobby Lee. And this is all time. Okay, these aren't just like alive. This is taking anyone who's ever done stand-up. Bobby Lee, Bert Kreischer, and Tom Segura, and Christina P. So there's your fucking top 5 of comedy right now because it's about what's on YouTube. Now you might say, sure, George Carlin was brilliant because he did comedy that two sides fighting bitterly, tooth and nail against everything. You still reference and think he was talking about them and be on their side. He wrote comedy that brilliant. Fuck him. It's about what you can do on YouTube and can you shit talk the other guy who's shit talking you for some reason you don't even fucking remember. That's who's good at comedy. Patrice O'Neal, he never was on YouTube doing shit talking, was he? No. Sorry, I took my anger out on that moth. No. So he sucks. Fuck him. Right? Not about what they said on stage, what they're doing in comedy. Sorry, let's continue. Somebody has you on their show, you turn your back on your best friends in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, this is some Andy Kaufman material, man. I like it. It's very artsy. It's brilliant.
Yeah. You know who should abandon their loyalty? the girl who just compared this to Andy Kaufman. Okay, the only thing that this is even remotely close to about Andy Kaufman is I wish this podcast was dead. Not faking its death like Andy Kaufman, I still hope, comes and pulls off. No, I wish they were actually dead. And yeah, who cares about loyalty? Who cares about people who you actually hang out with? You know, if you get a chance to do a show that somebody streams on YouTube and gets a decent amount of views, that even if they just only were on your radar for shit-talking you originally, cut through it with all your friends, turn your back on them, and hang out with that dude in a heartbeat.
Let's just take a look at the intro. That's Chopin? Oh, what a good song. What did the kids say when they knew it was their long-lost daddy-o? Remember how we listened to the radio, and I said, that's the place. I like this song. What's the song called? You don't have to answer that. That's fine. The one thing I said.
Is the host jerking off?
It looks like it. It really does. I wonder if he's sending a message, because I think I picked up on something. Did you hear that tension between them right away? Like, be nice, say thank you for being there, and be gracious, you know? Give them the, like, that's how you get their viewers. Obviously, you need people who get tons of live stream viewers. It doesn't matter what your chemistry's like in real life. After the show, you can argue, but on air, you have to seem like you're BFFs, because that's all that matters. No, he's wrong. Fuck them. You can get their viewers by stream sniping. Just stream when they stream. Grab it, play it, OBS, 1, 2, easy. Right? I will say, all that matters is on air. You got to pretend to be friends or pretend to be enemies. One thing or the other. Right? You know, it doesn't matter who your friends are in real life, right? If you can have somebody on air that you can pretend to be with, you know what, hell, why don't you even speculate what your good friends are thinking instead of just fucking asking them? Because that's a good way to get answers out of them. Right now, it seems like I've gone way too long without mentioning somebody should vent Nemo me. Send some money to the Moolah Because I Matter fund. I don't need the money, it makes my ego feel good. Oh, we got big news.
Oh, but do you mind me dancing? You usually hate my jokes and my little dances. I don't know.
No, I enjoy this. Anything that, you know, can bring some art to Harry Chapin.
Go ahead. What? What's up, buddy? Did that guy read a book halfway through that intro? Yeah, it seemed like he's not really focused on the podcast. If you noticed, what I was doing, I was setting up the next segment.
What
so
the fuck is this guy now?
Good job, Holt, paying attention. You know who doesn't need an intro but will get one anyway because I said he would absolutely get a good podcast introduction that he deserves? Ladies and gentlemen, he is arguably the consummate radio legend left doing it today. You may know him from his show, It's Erik Nagle. You may know him from his other past, but you know what? Why talk about him when we can just introduce him? Hey, Erik, thanks for joining, buddy.
I don't know how you're tolerating any of this.
I've
been watching, and each show is worse than the other show. I don't know how you're putting up with this.
Well, I now at least have somebody like you who's, I would say, arguably invented this genre of kind of watching or listening to other shows and going along with it. You were part of that crew. Would you say? I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, I could say that. But then I can also live with regret for the rest of my life because then we have stuff like this. You know, now this has been spawned off of it's begat, like in the Bible, you know, and they go through that whole long thing where it's like Abraham begat this guy, begat that guy. But now here we are, we're watching in infinity, terrible show after terrible show, reviewing another terrible show. It's just, where does it end? When does it stop?
You're right. And the answer is we got to stop funding those podcasts and give people the effort, the money, the effort for doing the hard work. Like me and you, because we have our fund. I don't know if you see it up here, our Moolah We Matter or our Teespring shirts. Erik, how much would you pay How much would you pay for that shirt?
That looks like a quality product. That's not one of those things you're spending $7 at a Kmart for. You know, that's like
No.
at least a $30 shirt.
Right, and even then would be too cheap because we're selling it for the low price of $250 right now, available on
That makes sense.
teespring.com. You know, you got to pay for
It's like
quality.
when you see those shirts online for artists and stuff, and they're doing concepts where they're doing mashups of your, like, I like Game of Thrones, and then I like Lord of the Rings. So they do like a hybrid kind of work of art, and you can buy this shirt for $13. But only the rubes pay for the $13 one. You know,
No.
you got to be above that. You got to go to the next level. And it's like, no, I need the premium quality shirt that costs at least $200 because I don't want it to shrink after the first washing. I want to wear it and feel like I'm not wearing anything at all because the cotton is so processed and so soft, like it's like you're just walking around in air.
You nailed it, buddy.
So why wouldn't you spend the $200?
And that's a $200 shirt you're going to wear. And
Yeah.
now you might say, but what if I want to get something autographed? We also have a $350 all over print option. That's the autograph
nice.
one. Nice squares. Any color Sharpie will work.
right.
So,
And that's
head
not
on
like
over.
a shirt that you can, that you just wear when it's. I don't know why lightning's going off in my studio here, but that's not like a shirt that you just wear, once in a while because it's an expensive shirt and it's a collector's item. No. You need to have one for every day of the week. Like this is my
Absolutely.
Monday shirt. This is my Tuesday shirt.
Absolutely. This isn't a $30 shirt you're going to get tired of the bit we did within 2 days and we're going to move on to something else and you're going to need to buy another $30 shirt. This is
Yeah.
here to stay.
You got to have enough shirts when people start noticing you at the office or walking around and go, didn't you wear that shirt yesterday? Or haven't you been wearing that shirt for the last few days? No, this is a different shirt.
Smell
No,
it.
it looks
It's so clean.
exactly like the look, I have a photo of us on Monday. You're wearing the same shirt. This is a completely different shirt. What do you mean? I have like 17 of these things. So I can go almost half the month and not wear the same shirt twice.
Exactly. $13 shirts, Eric, do not sell tickets.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
You know what $13 shirts are for? The people that are scamming you outside of Madison Square Garden. They're like, hey, Janet Jackson shirt? Really? Because WWE's here. I don't think Janet Jackson's performing. I know what you're doing. Get the fuck out of my face. I'm late for my train.
No, it tears as easily as hers. Let's get
Yeah.
back into this podcast.
You're seeing the what are they called?
The
Silk
seams.
screening. It's peeling as they're holding it.
Absolutely. Now,
That's what you get for a $13 shirt, not for a $230 shirt, not for
No.
the $300 shirt. That thing's going to leave an impression that when you close your eyes, when you look at a light too fast and you close it and you still see like the echo cloud of the lights,
yeah.
you're going to see the image of that shirt, whether the lights are on or off, whether your eyes are open or shut. You're going to see that because that's the quality you get for $300.
You know what? There is no one better at this than you. And with that, we're going to get back into it.
Help us make further.
Now, again,
Who's that
would
guy?
Never. Right? Why is there no names? He's not like he's a famous celebrity like us, okay?
No, and he looks like he just woke up.
Yeah, get a
Like,
haircut.
you're on camera. You're doing a visual presentation for people. Maybe,
Absolutely.
spruce up your appearance a little bit. Look like you put some effort into the thing.
You know what? Mirror your video so it looks like you're actually looking at the person you're talking to instead of off into the distance.
Yeah.
do you
Who's he
think about
looking at?
The chat, not the chat, because I
There's
know
no
nobody
action
was in
over
there.
there because if you look at the screen, the action is in the corner.
Yeah,
So like he's looking the opposite way.
just nuts. Let's oh God.
People.
The other thing about it, look at his hair. Get a haircut, man. We could tell you're balding. The hat cap's not hiding it, no matter how long the
Groom a little
sides
bit.
are.
Like all these podcasts have
Yeah.
like man groomer and the beard groomer stuff and everything. Like if this is so successful, he should have one of these sponsorships, right? You got the free product. This is the perfect opportunity to use one of those things to show that you're all manscaped and freshly groomed and everything. You're on the camera. You're giving a presentation to people.
Yeah, pop
Now-
on.
now- and if he does have these ads, I hope his sponsors hear this because look, he's obviously not using the product. So just cut your losses with him, cut all your ties, the funding, whatever, and jump on Bobby's podcast here.
Get on here. And you
Get
know
on
what?
this.
I bet a little more insight into that guy. He's got
Right.
an aunt who works in the cosmetic industry who begs him
Right.
all the time to use certain products and to trim his beard. And I bet you he was even going to get a haircut for about a month. But then
Right.
people he worked with kept bringing it up so he couldn't do it because then it would look like it was their idea, not his. So he had to wait in a What a loser. Get out of your own head and just be your own man.
You have a connection. a family connection who's probably not going to charge you what they make hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for consultations and product endorsements and recommendations and stuff. You're probably getting this stuff for free. That advice is invaluable. You're not paying for it, and he doesn't take it. What a
Absolutely.
complete waste.
Now, based on his outfit, that ant may be very white trash, but who knows? Let's take a look. I know you agree with this. You would never tell anyone that they should write for a podcast.
Oh my God.
Or heaven forbid.
Who's that? Who is
That,
she?
my friend, and you should be very familiar with this, is the Hole.
Yeah, I mean, I gathered that, but who is she?
Her name is Luby Popovic, and despite what it looks like, she does not play in the WNBA and is
She
not
sounds like a terrorist.
Yeah, she's not. That's what this podcast should be called. We're two different types of terrorists who meet and agree.
Yeah, remember Iron Eagle, the Top Gun ripoff from the 80s?
Yes, I do.
Where they were fighting like Albanians and stuff like that. That's what
Exactly.
this sounds like what we're dealing with here. She sounds like she's all sweet and innocent talking to you, but the second she's on the phone, she's mumbling in her home language, and those are codes that are being transmitted through our public airwaves, and
Oh,
she's giving messages to awaken sleeper cells.
absolutely. I don't want to give anything away, but I will let you know we do have a bit involving her and her quote hold'em in a little bit coming up. So I think you'll enjoy that in particular.
Okay.
Write a joke that if this podcast ever blows up and you get stage time, you can back up the fandom you've earned. Like, that is the worst thing you can do in comedy. What you really want to do is just claim to be a comedian all the time and never actually get on stage.
Yeah. 100%
Again.
agree.
Great
Wait,
response by
wasn't
the
that
holder.
guy a comedian?
Oh, he is.
Isn't he projecting here? He's just now saying it's like, if you're a cop. How many times do you think that guy's been told that, and now he's repurposing it to come off like he's all like he's pontificating
Or if you
about
look
what to be as a comic?
from me the whole way down,
Yeah.
we're all comedians. And this guy is ripping off the guy there, who ripped off the guy there, who's ripping off the trend.
And I haven't heard of most of them.
Yeah, no one's heard of any
Where are
of
they
them.
performing?
Nope. I heard this guy plug his show, middle of fucking nowhere. Okay?
Pottstown?
The Appel Center in York. This Saturday. Six
No one's
seats
going
left.
to York for comedy.
No.
They go because they got stuck going to school there, or they go there because I think there's like food manufacturers. You can get a tour of like a chocolate factory.
I think you mispronounced heroin. They
Oh,
go to York
okay.
to pick up heroin in the ghettos.
It's been a while since I've been in Pennsylvania, so
Now-
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Pretty
Times
much.
have changed. Yeah.
Any major city these days. But the Appel Center's in a nice area, and I hear there are 6 seats left, so you may want to get your tickets quickly. But anyway, yeah, they're all comedians. But I do think he brings up a good point. You don't want to write, like, comedic bits for a podcast. That's
Right.
stupid. What you want to do is do research into people's family members so you can expose their lies, right? Cyberbullying. So that's the kind of writing you
Yeah,
want to
get their
do.
addresses, post their phone numbers, all that stuff. Yeah.
Why not? Who cares? You can just get a new phone number. Doesn't everybody have $1,000?
Everybody's got like 1,000 Twitter accounts. Everybody's doxing everybody else. If you lose that account, oh well, you got 60 others from using one of those email generators that they can't trace. And thanks to VPNs, you can't trace an IP on a lot of that stuff. So who's gonna stop you?
Exactly. And this is something I'm actually glad you asked about because I got into this a little bit before you came in, and I was curious your
Doxing?
thoughts. No.
Okay,
Your top 5 comedians today of all time.
it's not those guys.
No,
I don't know who they
definitely
are.
not.
No,
But today, it doesn't matter what you say on stage or what the audience
Right.
response is. What matters is what you do on YouTube. So I was saying guys
Right.
like Carlin, who were so brilliant that
he was
both
never
sides.
on YouTube.
No, of course not. So he's definitely not near Mount Rushmore, right? I came up with, I think, Bobby Lee, Bert and Tom, Rogan, and Christina P. would probably be the top 5 right now because it's all based on what you do on YouTube.
All solid choices, but I think Rogan gets a pass because even though he didn't officially start on YouTube, he did migrate and blow up. In fact, you could even say that he made YouTube.
I would
I think
agree
he's
with that.
above that standard of being held as that if he's not a YouTube comedian, that he doesn't amount to anything. I think he transcends that.
That's a
Other
good
than
point.
that, everybody on the list is a fair assumption. Yeah.
Thank you. And you know what? We will give Rogan the pass. And in his place, I'd like to put, I don't know about you, one of my personal favorite stand-up comedians.
Brian Callen,
Yes, you
Brendan
nailed it.
Schaub,
It was going to be both of those guys. They're a tie for 5th because they do their great podcast
Vaughn.
together. Theo, I would actually say he's pretty funny. Have you heard his stand-up, so he doesn't
I
get to
know
be on
Theo,
this
yeah.
list, so he doesn't count because his stand-ups.
Theo used to do our old show back in the day.
I do. I do remember the Daryl Strawberry story.
Mm-hmm.
I heard it live. Shout me out. Send me Venmo for listening to O&A back in the day. But
The great
yeah.
thing about Theo is that he found a look and he's stayed with it. Like it has been his image. He is not cutting that mullet. He is not looking like he showered. He's banking on it, and good for him. You know, Carrot Top didn't change his hair.
No, and in a good way, unlike this guy, who clearly doesn't bathe
That guy
in a
looked
bad
like
way.
he woke up. Yeah, who knows when he showered? Who knows what's in that beard festing?
Exactly, it's nuts. Oh gosh.
Wearing a shirt that's way too tight, but he hides it with the flannel because, you know, laundry. He hasn't done laundry in a while, so he's probably wearing like his girlfriend's shirt or his ex-girlfriend who left some
Yeah.
clothing there. That's what he's wearing. It's like, well, I can just hide it under this. It's like, how is your shirt too small and your flannel's too big? Like he's not accessorizing the right way.
But neither
it
fit
looks
your
weird.
face or head.
No. And then the guy above him is wearing like a sports coat. What is he, like a talk show host?
Yeah.
Or he's
and
an
look at his
analyst, like he's
shoulders.
trying to look smart.
Oh God. And you just keep going down to the drug rug, the
And he's
original
slouching.
hippie.
He's like at an angle.
And you
Like
know,
his one shoulder's higher than the other. It's like how everything just
Yeah.
probably like rolls off of him.
sit normal. What do you have? A polynatal cyst, which means you bleed from your butt crack, you loser?
Oh, and then
No.
above him, you got the guy who still thinks like, you know, dressing like Limp Bizkit is cool. And then the guy in front of him, you know, I guess the one that started all of this stuff here. I mean, could you be more cliche of a guy in college that just discovered G-Love and Special Sauce and,
Exactly.
and the Dead and Fish and things like that? And he's like, oh, I'm gonna wear this kind of thing. It's quite kind of plaid, but it's kind of burlap, and I'll just wear it all the time. That'll be my jacket. That'll be my day shirt. That'll be my night shirt. I won't wear it to sleep in because it's a little too hot. But every day, it's just I wear the same outfit.
Absolutely. And the other thing I want to notice about this pattern as well is as you go down,
Right.
starting in the center, he's the happiest. Because he was just talking about a subject he enjoyed and trying to bring it to people.
The guy in the white hat.
In the purple hat, actually.
Oh, all the way.
Yeah, all the way down.
Okay.
He looks kind of happy, and it gets progressively angrier until me. Okay? And that's how you know somebody's doing what they should be, which is they're pissed off all the time. The smallest things set them off.
You start happy, then
Happy and unsuccessful, but as you get successful, you just get angry for
you
no
become
reason.
miserable. And
Yeah.
it's almost like Mad Men. Yeah,
Right,
You're
and you-
working your way up through the company. You start as the guy, and it's like, I feel bad for you, and it's like I feel bad for you. And then Draper turns around and goes, I don't think of
I
you
don't
at all.
think about
Like that's
you
where
at
you.
all.
It's like he's looking at it, the younger version of himself, starting off in the company to where he is now. All right,
Exactly.
so I see what you're saying there.
Yeah.
You need to be rich. You need to have good clothing. You have to have drinks at all hours of the day, in and outside of the office.
Exactly.
And if you keep that up, you'll have a bit of a midlife crisis, a bit of a mental breakdown. But then, hey, you invent one of the biggest global promotions ever with that Coca-Cola you'd like to teach the world to sing. And then you never have to worry about anything again. You could be as happy and as miserable as you want. You know why? Because you have money and you did it right. And who cares who you squashed on the, when they say, oh, be nice to the people on the way up because they'll be the people there is no way down. This is Money in the Bank. This is a ladder match. I'm going up there to get that briefcase. I'm not looking down. I'm not coming back down that ladder. It's like, oh, you were an amenable opponent. No, I'm not fighting you again. You lost your opportunity. I have my contract now
Exactly.
to go win the title. And when I win the title, I'm
It-
done. I walk away on top undefeated, and there's nothing you can do. And now I got Coca-Cola FU money.
Exactly. You nailed it, other than the part where you said marketing. And now a lot of people would say don't put the intimate details of your life on air. But when we met, I was a non-traditional student still in college.
Right.
And I took a marketing class where at the beginning the professor liked my creativity and was going to hire me. And by the end he was like, yeah, you should stick to stand-up.
Yeah, because you know what? He started off clueless and happy, and then he figured out some sort of success, and now he's a piece of shit. And now he's like, well, I got to treat you like a piece of shit because now otherwise I can't be successful.
Absolutely. And this is what I want. Despite the fact that you saying the smallest thing could set me off because I misperceive it and it's clearly misdirected anger, this is what I want. No matter the fact that I'm angry all the time and have to
Right.
brag about how long I've been without doing drugs, this is what I want. Let's continue the video. I'm sorry, I'm ranting now.
No, please go
Sorry
ahead and keep
if I
doing
seem a
drugs.
little
Who's telling you to
frustrating. I'm
stop?
recovering from an illness I've had all week.
Unless if you donate to our Beg for a Bentley fund. Because right now I gotta get a match.
Oh, I was just telling you other names. I didn't think. A lot of people say Rockin, Mockin, Stalkin, Talkin, Chopin with Chapin is too long of a name.
Mhm.
I had some other ideas. One was running shoes, but clearly that wouldn't be a great name because I've never worn running shoes in my life. Another one would
Right.
be like Misery Loves Happiness, or a group, if the whole thing about my podcast was driving all of my friends away. Or like
How about misery equals money?
Misery equals money would be great, right? The angrier
Yeah.
you are, the more money you make. That would be good. In a sticky situation, but nobody ever watches the show, so you would never really say anything that would put you in a sticky situation. All possible ideas that I ran by, but, for hypocritical reasons didn't use. You know what I think I've got? You know what I think's going on here?
Tell me.
I would love to trash this guy.
She couldn't be less interested doing this, by the way.
No, it clearly looks like she doesn't know what she got herself into.
She's looking around. She's constantly checking her hair, seeing if there's somebody else around that's more interesting to talk to than that guy. Like, she's barely paying attention.
At one point, she called him a moose face. Like, that's not even a good idiom. I
No.
think he's just jealous of, like, what we've got. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
He's
wow,
got
because-
one person in the chat, and we all were like that when we were his age. He's got one person in the chat. We've got 3. And, I'm sure maybe he's outperforming every
3.
weekend and getting to do stand-up.
You've got 8
what he says
now.
is his main goal.
Yeah,
He
because of
really
you.
wants the
Yeah.
YouTube presence and people to love him on here. Okay, now I got to give you a little bit of the backstory here. I don't know
Yeah.
if you know this. I see the guy in the flannel jacket probably for 15 to 20 minutes every day.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of just asking him where his head's at and why he may be frustrated with me or with the situation, I think a better option is you and I to speculate about him. Right?
Okay.
I know him kind of very well. You might even say he's my protege. You're just,
Right.
A random guy who's associated with me. But let me just get into his mind. He wants what other people have. Right? Now, he may sit there and go, I just want to be on YouTube. But I think deep down, this guy wants to be on a stand-up stage. And how ridiculous is that?
That's pretty ridiculous. Like, who is he to just assume that he would command the presence of being on stage? Like, who is he to assume that, oh, look, this is my goal now? What do the young people call it? Oh, I'm going to manifest my career now by just saying, I need to be on this stage. That's where I need to be and hone my craft because I feel that I'm a comic and this is the way I got to do it now. And everybody else goes, but I never heard you say anything funny. You don't write anything. You don't do anything funny. You look like you just woke up and walked over here.
Yeah.
Why would anyone take you seriously or give you an opportunity?
And do you even have a YouTube channel that 2 people watch, but you have 10.8 thousand subscribers? Come on. What are you doing?
He's buying views in his chat.
So you're telling me that you have empathy for him?
Yeah, I get where he's coming from, because at that age, we all wanted what other people had. And now, sure, if you actually ask this guy, he might say something along the lines of, I don't want what you have. If I had what you had at your stage in your career, I would hope to have the balls to blow my own brains out.
Again, this is
But-
all stuff that he's been told, and he's just projecting
Just
it again. He's
recycling it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. What? And who wouldn't want, right? Who wouldn't want a huge YouTube show if their entire goal in life was comedy? He
Right.
just wants what other people have. Let's keep going.
Oh, some pizza
Okay.
from Sad Zumok.
Okay. Now, I do want to just pause for 1 second, Luby, because a lot
Uh-huh.
of people might
Always
say,
stopping and starting again. It's like he never gets to the fucking point.
yeah, and I know you can't tell because I actually did cut clips, but
Yeah.
he's just fast forwarding through and kind of commenting as he goes. That all this is.
Yeah, I
is
was
2
wondering
people.
why. It's like, why is everything speeding through? So we can't hear the comment. We can't hear what's being said for him to comment on because I'll hear, and he goes, well, I'll break this down for you now. It's like, I don't even know what you're analyzing at this point. You're shortchanging the viewer here because you got to see it. We didn't. And you keep stopping it every 5-10 seconds to throw your jibber jabber out there. And it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you analyzing? What is all this nonsense?
It makes no sense to me. And you know what? This guy, okay, instead of just
Yeah.
talking to him and seeing what's going on and why he's frustrated with life or everything, here's what I think I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep talking about him on a daily basis with
Right.
people I know he doesn't like and just keep speculating. and just keep egging it on
successful
and
people.
egging it on. No, not successful. Equally unsuccessful people, but just people he doesn't like.
Going that route.
Yeah,
Okay.
and just continually, every single day, egging on, instead of just asking him and going, "Hey, what's going on in your head?" Because that's how you get somebody to respond, right?
Yeah, that and constantly name dropping them when they have nothing to do with your conversation, like that guy seems to like doing. He just likes to name drop and mention people. It's like, well, maybe if I say this person's name enough, maybe that they'll reach out to me, or maybe I'll make some sort of connection, or maybe they'll talk about me, and that'll generate more revenue for my YouTube channel. It's like, instead of putting the work in, it's like, well, all right, I'm going to set this channel up. How do I leech off of everybody else and siphon their success into mine, undeservedly so, and then I can pad my numbers and pad my chats and then get monetized and then try to run off numbers like, oh, I have this many subscribers and we do this many total watch hours. Well, you know what? There's now applications that break all that down. So he's like, I make $4,000 in super chats. Really? Because it says you made $8. There's $8 in that super chat there, and that was 3-4 people doing the $2 super chats who pity you, and one is probably your mom doing that. It's like, oh, I'm so happy that you're on the TV now, and it's not TV, it's something else.
It's the
It's
internet.
just all pathetic and sad.
Yeah, my aunt watched one episode of this, and she said, "Hey, Bobby, this is killing me faster than the chemo."
Right,
So
and she blocked you, and
yeah,
and rightly so. That's what a loving relative does. They don't feed these delusions of grandeur here, where you're sitting there like, oh, I'll give him $2, I'm gonna support you and you can do it. It's like the parent that's sitting on the bleachers when you know your kid sucks, and it's like, come on, you can do it, and then they swing with all their might and it barely turns into a bunt and they're easily thrown out, and they're like, oh, you tried, you did good, you still get to go to the pizza party. Why? Everybody else put in the hustle, and the team won. He didn't win. He didn't contribute to the team winning. And if he lost, he definitely contributed to the team losing.
absolutely.
Why be that parent there and just be it's like, oh, you can do it? That's what got this country into the mess that it's in right now. Trophy and helicopter parents. All it's like, you can do a good job just for trying and being there. No, you can't. And your YouTube numbers are showing it.
Exactly. Speaking of visions of grandeur and delusion, just to take any possibility of this guy's delusion of performing in stand-up clubs, like,
Right.
because it's a ridiculous idea, right? To want to just perform one night a week in the
Right.
best city and busiest city in the world for comedy. How ridiculous. So you know what I'm going to do, EROCK? I'm going to call the clubs, and I'm going to get him fucking banned. For no reason.
I don't think you need to go that far yet.
Okay.
But I think you should call the clubs and get a ticket count. Like, call every time. It's like, hey, we're looking to come down, or
Ooh.
tickets sold out, or can we just buy it at the door? And they'll usually tell you. They're like, oh, yeah, tickets aren't sold out. You'll have no problem getting tickets at the door. And you go, oh, okay, do you know how many tickets are sold right now? And then they'll tell you. And then when he goes on there, it's like, no, it's like, yeah, we sold out the first show. And no, you didn't sell out the first show. Everybody else that was on there may have sold out the first show. And now the other show that you're featured on, you haven't sold anything. You're saying that people have been buying tickets. I just called the club. And do it every day. Every time he's on, call the club and then go into the chat and say, oh, but only 7 tickets sold.
Oh, shit. Now you're going for the jugular.
Yeah.
But here, I'm actually going to try to make a point to this guy because I think I care about him.
Right.
So the point I want to make is I'm going to get him banned from the clubs. And I was worried you were going to say don't call the clubs because I've been too much of a pussy to call them for 3 years and they might actually book me because they like me.
No, call them and get facts.
Yeah, get the facts and get him canceled.
And then when he's on there saying something, you go, really? Because I
Boom.
just called the club and they said nobody bought tickets for Saturday. Because somehow you have a 4:30 p.m. show on a Saturday. I've never heard of that before. The earliest I've ever heard on a Saturday is like 7:30. How did you get a 4:30 show?
And even those 7:30 shows for the most part are kids friendly. Like I've
Yeah,
done
they're
some
like
of
a
those clubs.
matinee kind of thing.
Yeah, it's rough, but no. And speaking of no tickets sold, I know a lot of people are going, but we need to move some actual tickets. Crip Daddy is coming to New York. May 24th.
Oh, that's right, he is. Yeah.
To record his album. A lot of people have jumped through a lot of hoops to make things happen for him because he deserves it.
He's not jumping through hoops.
No, he's not jumping through anything. Although if he did, that'd probably go viral. But a lot of people, because he deserves it, has nothing to do with any disability or anything. He's a funny comedian who Aaron saw and wanted to give an opportunity to. So if you can get your tickets, they're available on Stand Up New York now. It's an 8 o'clock show. It'll be a lot of fun. I'll be there. I think Andrew will be there. But imagine who Donovan works with, and I would imagine a couple trickle in probably pretty hammered.
Yeah, go see Donovan, not that asshole.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. Go spend your money on Donovan and then send your ticket receipts over to that guy. Go, I hate you so much. I bought tickets for the other guy, and I'm going to see him. In fact, I'm buying
Exactly.
all the tickets, and I can't even go to that show. I'm just buying all the tickets for him, just so that you can't go to, so you can't say that, that you're a success. He sold the place out. Why? Because I bought all the tickets.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
fuck that guy in the flannel shirt. You know what?
Fuck
I
that
bet
guy.
even if he doesn't know one, bet he calls it something stupid like just a hobby. What a
Right.
clown. Nobody gives
And
a
that
fuck
Limp
about
Bizkit guy
bickering
hasn't
with
said shit this entire time. What's
two
he
other people
doing?
who nobody gives a fuck about. I think that's me. Who are bickering with two other people who nobody gives a fuck about. And at the beginning, they probably were all friends. And I bet you could find a bunch of podcasts that all these people on screen have done together. But now, because of some arbitrary reason like YouTube drama or beef to garner views, now they all hate each other. And in reality, nobody should know who made this entire podcast.
He's jealous he
Did you hear
wasn't
it?
part
Did
of
you
all
hear
of
it?
that. He's
Yeah.
trying to insert himself
So right
into it.
now, like, people will say what I'm doing is acting like a shittier version, like a diet version of Red Bar, who I spent half a decade complaining about.
Who are
almost
you to
on a
even
daily
compare
basis and
yourself to
wishing
that?
death upon, and now I'm just acting like a shittier
Ooh.
version without doing the work and still doing all the same damage. But that's wrong. Okay, we're nothing like Red Bar. He does a quality show. Okay, I think he actually kind of made a good point there that
Yeah, he saved himself there.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a misdirection on that, so I can see what he was going for. 'Cause I
Yeah.
was about to say, it's like, who is he to compare himself to, these upper quality shows? Like,
yeah, who actually put the time in and do the research and have people watching these other shittier shows that they mock. You know, clearly you just start the video and play it fast.
Are they arguing? Do they hate each other? What's going on? I'm trying to figure it out. I'm getting a little
Well,
upset.
surprised
It's
the
just-
girl
you
can't
gotta
figure out
remember
what's
the
going
The
on.
hole's confused. Movie, right? What you see there is
Oh,
a Russian
guys,
doll of
can't we just all
wanting
get
what others have,
together?
right? Now, sure, the guy at the center said, which is a real audience, a real fan base.
And see if that brings any revenue.
I think we're getting to the point I was looking for. You ready for this?
Yes.
Seems perfectly content just doing a podcast about Harry Chapin and with nobody talking about him. He wants what the others have, and they want what the other guy has. And you know what? Those morons want what we have, which is a real audience, a real fan base, like Ian. Why
You know,
not
Bobby,
give
He thinks
him
so
more?
much of
honorable
himself.
ways of earning money online.
Yeah.
Where does this
think
inflated
this
sense
could
of
be a-
ego come from?
What a nut job.
Yeah.
Let's just.
The right moment for me to like maybe offer my feet to your fans and see if that brings any revenue, because I am all about
Oh, that's
know,
the new
being a
mindset nowadays for this younger
hard-working
generation. It's like, well, if I
comedian
can't do any
and
real
not
work or get
using
any real success, I can
any
always do
other,
like an OnlyFans or that
avenues to-
that weird foot site that she was talking about there. That's just how they do it now. It's quick cash grabs instead of actually doing any work.
And they're fucking huge. But it made me feel like that might be a probably the ultimate whole move to plug
Right.
your OnlyFans in the middle of a rant. And Eric, you did
Well,
a
he's
lot
not
of.
shutting up, so I mean, she's got to get her plug in somewhere.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
Now, Eric, you did a lot of Jocktobering back in the day. Who would
I
you
thought
say
you were
was?
gonna say like feet stuff? I was gonna about
No.
to reach through the camera and smash in the face.
I know you hate it.
Yeah.
Who would you say was the meanest comedian when he was willing to participate?
with Jocktober?
Yeah, because I know a lot of them
It was
wouldn't.
hard. It was hard because I mean, I guess it would be Patrice because some of the other comics wouldn't come in if like we had to do Jocktober early some days if they were coming in because they would have to cross paths with some of these morning shows while they're going around the country promoting their shows, selling their tickets, whatever. And I think the first year we were doing it was there was a show I think out of Texas, Walton and something, and Bill Burr was there, and Bill Burr was like, "Oh, I can't do this." And we're like, "What? What are you talking about?" It's like, "I know those guys. I don't have a problem with those guys. They treat me very good. I sell a lot of tickets when I'm on their show. I can't shit on those guys." And then we started to realize like, oh, the comics can't be part of this. Okay.
I forget
So-
the show. It may have been Scott and Todd, but I remember Patrice just being like, "Ah, fuck it," and then he tagged in one day, and it went nuts. And this was the moment I snapped on this podcast and was like, what I wouldn't give to hear what Patrice O'Neal's thoughts would be on this podcast. And
Right.
fortunately, technology's gotten us to a point where we can find out what Patrice's thoughts were. So without further ado, I'd like to just read you quickly AI Patrice's thoughts.
Oh, wow.
OnlyFans. Luby, you might want to start a podcast first. Baby steps. The room erupts in laughter. Patrice relishes in the moment. You know, fellas, this whole radio show, Stalkin, Mockin, Talkin, Chopin with Chapin, it's like they let a toddler loose in the dictionary, and whatever words they randomly pointed at, they throw it in there. And Tina, with her skyscraper feet. She must be walking around with her own gravitational pull. She could step on a Lego and it wouldn't even faze her. Those feet are so big she probably wears canoes instead of shoes. But seriously, what's up with Chapin? I think he's referring to the fat host there. That guy wants Luby so bad you can practically hear his desperation through the microphone. He's like a lovesick puppy yapping at her heels, but he's too scared to make a move. Hey, Tina. I was wondering maybe if you're not too busy, we could go get a cup of coffee sometime? Or maybe just, be in the same room together but not really talk? Yeah, that sounds good. Come on, Chapin, grow a pair, man. You're in the presence of a strong woman with those giant feet. It's time to step up your game. And that is Patrice's rant on what we've seen so far.
That's a bit wordy.
Yeah, I feel like Patrice would have been more to the point, right?
Patrice would have been a bit more crass and direct. He would have been like, fuck that bitch. And then talking about, her pinky toe is too misshapen doesn't matter how hot she is. That one little toe ruins the whole mystique and presentation of her. And he would just go for that psychological dissection of a person.
Exactly.
Just for the weirdest thing. Like if he couldn't figure out her insecurities at first, he'd go for her physical imperfections, and then when that opens up, then he goes inside and sees the what's inside
and destroys
in her head, and then destroy her that way too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a bit like we got to dump more Patrice stuff into the GPT or the AI and stuff. It's got to learn a bit more.
So I know you have to go, so this is why I'm brought this up. Is I believe Patrice O'Neal is
Patrice
the
O'Henry.
Well,
different guy.
Yeah. A different Irish guy. You're getting a whole different thing. But
right. Patrice O'Malley.
Patrice O'Malley, the alley cat. No, Patrice O'Neal is the modern day Patrick Henry. And the reason why is, do you know who Patrick Henry was? A lot of people haven't that I've talked to about this.
I don't think so.
He's the guy who beat the machine. He was the steel worker who outbeat the steel railroad building machine, and then he died, and it was like he gave the Union a chance. It's an American
I thought that was
legend.
John Henry.
John Henry, that's what I meant. I said Patrick. Patrick Henry was give me liberty or give me death.
Yeah, John Henry was the steel driving man.
I should probably do some
research.
research.
There was a song about it.
Yeah, Johnny Cash, and I played it on Morning the other day.
Henry to the graveyard, buried him in the sand. Every locomotive that goes roaring by said their lives a steel driving man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
John Henry. And I believe Patrice O'Neal is the modern day John Henry. And the reason why is you can feed as many lines as you want. What Patrice could do is exactly what you said. He could do psychology in a split second, find the one insecurity, and then he would come up with a description that was unique.
And then call him the N-word.
Yep. But unique to a point, and AI is just not there yet. So, buddy, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to all of your podcasts. How's Giddles?
Giddles is doing good. He's doing fine.
That's awesome.
He's doing good. Yeah, I do one show with Giddles, and then over at iHeart, and then I do the other show with Brian Johnson over at Compound.
And Brian is the man.
2 different Brians.
I don't know if you know this. We've been begging Brian to be on this podcast, but he just said, and I quote, "I'm too big of a deal to get involved in this minor shit."
I think he is, but he tends to not think that he is. He's been doing some shit lately that I've been questioning. I go, what are you doing?
Then I'm going to keep on pestering.
I think you should, because eventually you'll break him down, and he'll probably show up in here, and then I'll chastise him, saying, "Why are you doing this show? Look at all those other shows there. Why are you lowering yourself to that guy who looks like he just woke up?"
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, buddy. And if you could pass one question on to Brian, I want to see him do stand-up again. I saw his first ever stand-up performance. It was amazing. I would love to see him do it again. Now that things are getting a little bit better out there, right. I would dying to see his thoughts on everything. I think he is very smart and very hilarious. I'd love to see him break it down. But thank you. It's Erik Nagle across the board, right?
Yep, on all the social medias there. And I'll tell Giddles that you like his stand-up.
No, Brian. Brian, stand up. I'm sorry. Giddles, I've got to attend a bake-off.
Giddles is also Brian, so.
Oh, God, I'm so confused. On that note.
You think you're confused. I got to separate two different Brians all the time. Yes. All right. Thanks,
Thank
Bobby.
you so
I'll
much,
talk to you
Eric.
later.
You're the best, buddy.
Bye.
Guys, how great was that? The legend, Erik Nagle, gracing us with his presence for a little bit there. Patrice O'Neill, we've got a few minutes left here. I'm going to break it down, but why don't you guys just empty your bank accounts into that Venmo there? Because, again, clearly I'm working so hard. I got a computer to do the work. I thought Patrick Henry was John Henry. Give me your money or I'm going to kill myself. How's that for the modern-day Patrick Henry? Much better things you could attack. Like, you could be, like, hey, the guy in the black cap with the Jordan logo. I bet you he got dumped by a very overweight, hairy girl who now goes by they, them, and has to question his sexuality, but he's still not over her.
Wow.
I think that was the only true thing he said the entire time. Like, he let the truth slip. He said the inside.
I don't even know what that
Yeah,
fucking was.
Oh, this is a live stream. Nobody's watching, buddy.
Yeah, That's true. nobody's Nobody is watching. Nobody's watching. Restream. I bet you it got like less than 100
No.
views total.
No, that's not the way to do it. He's doing it
Yeah.
wrong this whole time.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're doing something funny that nobody
Plead
cares
your
about.
case. Hey, I need new titties. Hey, my son's hungry. Hey, I haven't been performing for past 10 years and I've lost all of my credibility. Come on.
Hey, I'm trapped in a second loveless marriage and I've got a horrible genetic disease. Give me money. Anything you can plead for.
Anything
Really?
you plead, that's the route you take.
No.
That's the gracious
You have to
route.
point out that this
That's
is
the honest route where you're
good,
sharing your story.
and everybody else
People
is shit.
appreciate it.
Exactly. Let's finish this up real quick. I think we got a minute left.
And then at the hello, honey, it's me. What did you think when you heard me back on the radio? What did the kids say when they knew it was their long lost daddy? Oh. Remember how we listened to the radio and I said that's the place to be. And how I got the job as an FM jock the day you married me. It was 2 kids and I was into AM rock, but I just had to run around. It's been 8 years since I left you, babe. Let me tell you about what's gone down. I am the morning DJ at WOLD. Playing all the hits for you, wherever you may be. The great good morning. Hello, honey, it's me.
Still does not
This
end
is
a
how
fucking
it's
show,
done.
loser.
Watch this show and take notes. Pathetic YouTubers.
If
I'm
she was
out.
talking about me, we're out. She'd be
And
right.
this
This has been Stalkin, Mockin, Talkin, Chopin with Chapin. Guys, even though the live stream's over, you can still send your tips, because I'll still take them, because I'm still in my taxi, taking your tips and getting stoned.
Hello, honey, it's me. What did you think when you heard me back on the radio? What did the kids say when they knew it was their long lost daddy? Oh. Remember how we listened to the radio and I said that's the place to be. And how I got the job as an FM jock the day you married me. It was 2 kids and I was into AM rock, but I just had to run around. It's been 8 years since I left you, babe. Let me tell you about what's gone down. I am the morning DJ at WOLD. Playing all the hits for you, wherever you may be. The bright good morning.
Well, folks, what can I say? That's been Rockin', Stalkin', Mockin', Talkin', Chopin with Chapin. Thank you so much to Dominic. Thank you so much to the wonderful Erik Nagle for joining in. And guys, even though the show's over, you know what you can do? You can still send me moolah because I matter. Because you know what? All those other podcasts, they're acting happy. But this is what I want, despite the fact that I have to get stoned. So, on that note, thank you for watching Rockin', Stalkin', Mockin', Talkin', Chopin with Chapin. We'll see you next time.
Hello, honey, it's me. What did you think when you heard me back on the radio? What did the kids say when they knew it was their long-lost daddy? Oh, remember how we listened to the radio, and I said that's the place to be, and how I got the job as an FM jock the day you married me. It was 2 kids and I was into AM rock, but I just had to run around. It's been 8 years since I left you, babe. Let me tell you about what's gone down. I am the morning DJ at WOLD, playing all the hits for you wherever you may be.